everyone? It's your favorite FGC VTuber. So as you guys can probably tell by the title today, we're going to be talking about the failure of 2xKO and why I'm personally very happy about it. Now, I actually recorded this before 2 times. The first time, it didn't catch my audio. You think Mike was muted. And second time, I forgot to press fucking record. So I'm an idiot. But hopefully this will be a bit better. And this will, as you guys know, see, it was 33 minutes. So this is going to be a bit long. Hopefully this will be shorter. It's going to go off into a bit of a tangent to the state of the FGC as a whole. Because you kind of have to talk about it. Like, apparently some people thought 2xKO was to be the savior, which is crazy to me. Now, first as a heads up, I should give away that I fucking hate Riot. I never like Riot. I think League is gay as fuck. I am not a fan. So I clearly have some bias going into this, but I will still break down from an objective standpoint why I think that shit's trash and why I'm glad and whatnot. Whatever, who gives a shit? I'm just here ranting off, right? But yeah, I already have some vested interest in this thing failing ahead of time, right? But the first thing I want to get off, and we'll try to stay on track. I'll do 2xKO first and then everything else. Hopefully I should be put timestamps below for those interested. And hopefully I'm a bit better on track this time than I was last time, if that makes sense. But one of the first things I wanted to talk about is specifically for this is that one of the first tweets said, right? So we're gonna go be on Twitter because I have to re-like stuff. One of the first things that everyone had their hot takes on 2xKO by now, but high key the issue might have been that not many outside the FGC knew about the game was coming out. 100%. Like at the end of the day, say what you like, whether you like the game or not. It's primarily down to marketing. That's always matters. You can make the best game on earth, but no one's heard about it. No one's gonna play it, right? Me telling my FPS friends about 2xKO, then asking what's that, I tell them it's a game or whatever. Yeah, the amount of people saying they just found out about 2xKO releasing, reading today's news says it all. So yeah, no, dude, no one fucking knew this shit was even coming out, dude. That's the number one thing to come out, which is crazy. And to me, and mind you, and this is my cousin was actually invested in it, right? Like, I think the other problem is the fact that they genuinely thought people who don't play a real game, because I don't consider League a real game, to play a real game like a fighting game. It's the same thing with DNF Duel. When you have losers that don't play a real game, and then they try to play a real game, they can't play it because they can't play video games, you know? So you barely get any League transition. And on top of that, my cousin, he was interested. Oh, okay, you know, and then he got bored because I think they just took too long. They took way too long. And we'll get into that specifically with the 10-year life cycle. And that one's going to go into a dev rant, as I am a developer. But yeah, that was one of the first issues. Like, hands down, your marketing was absolutely garbage. Hands down. Hands fucking down. Oh, and now we're going to get to this. If you're tired of fighting games dying or losing support, stop talking shit because you don't like it. No, I refuse. This is a mini rant on, like, if I don't like a fucking game, I'm allowed to talk the maddest shit about it, you know? Like, I am allowed to hate on this shit. Why? And the biggest thing, as I said, this the FGC needs is that we all need to play collectively at least 1 to 3 fighting games, and then when it gets big enough, then we can recommend them other fighting games that we care about. Like, you know, kind of splinter off, right? And the other thing is, to me, it's like, I'm sorry, no, I don't want people to play shitty as Grand Blue. No, I don't want them to play shitty as 2x fucking homo-o. I want them to play my fucking game because it's actually fucking good. Now, I will say there is something when you hate on other people that are enjoying a game just because you don't like it. Like, you know, I won't be that dude. Like, if you play that shit, cool for you. I don't really give a shit, right? Like, you know that meme where the guy's sitting there like, oh, stop enjoying the game. No one likes that dude. That dude's an asshole, right? But I am allowed to shit on the game, right? It's one thing hating on intangible objects, whatever. When you start being on people, I think that's unnecessary, bro. Like, calm the it ain't that deep, bro. Leave people the fuck alone. Let them enjoy what they want to enjoy, right? But it's the same thing. People who it goes the other way around when people want to, oh, you're not allowed. I'm allowed to criticize a product. Stop being a bitch, right? We can't get better products if you don't bitch, right? It's crazy. And we'll get into that tangent while people trying to pay back. And same thing. All I'm gonna say is motherfuckers are stupid. Dead game allegations in a game that's still incredible. No, first of all, no, it doesn't. We're gonna talk about the view count. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about it right now. Yeah, no, it's crazy to see this whole view count. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. Fighting games are not a good state, especially viewer-wise. Like, dude, a random VTuber tournament beat your Tekken World Tour final. If that's not an indicator that no one gives a shit about esports, I do not know what is. We've talked about this several times in the fucking thing. Like, the esports bubble burst and everybody knew it. So many people backed out, bro. Like, I'm sorry, bro. You can fuck off with that shit, bro. Like, you can actually fuck off. You're a fucking idiot. So, like, no. I'm sorry that the 10 people who are watching 2xKO, like, oh my god, that's more than the 9 we had watching Tekken. And they say, okay, going back. I still can't believe they took one of the biggest competitive video. I've said it once and I said it again. If you're not a fighting game, you're not an RTS or a shooter, you're not competitive. I'm not getting into it. This whole thing, I made a video about what I consider esports. But fucking no. You can fuck off with that. I don't know what shit they're on about. Dark era fighting games number 2. Street Fighter 6 is holding the whole place. It's a bigger... Yeah, no, it is. He's cooking. He's absolutely right. Street Fighter 6 is the best product by a long shot, which we'll get into, right? And let's see. Oh, okay. Let's talk about this whole Maximilian thing that kind of popped off and happened. It's basically, some people are calling him a show because he was saying that, like, and mind you, I get this, right? Like, here's the thing you guys need to know. When it comes to developers, they care about far more what the majority says than random people, right? So they'll balance a game far more around normies than high-level people. No, there are some points where they should listen to, but high-level people are biased as fuck. The problem is if you want actual change, just sit here and yelling slurs and, oh, you're an idiot, this and that, and not actually breaking down in a cohesive way why something is just not good objectively for everybody, not just for pros, then they're not going to fucking listen to you. There's a reason developers actually go up to Max, because they know he can honestly convey his actual opinions. So the amount of people that are saying that he's like a shill or some bullshit like that is crazy, which we're going to talk about someone who is kind of a shill, who people are talking about, and is also trying to say 2xKO, you know, whatever, we'll get into it. This is just a joke that was saying, oh, whatever, and they just shoot Riot, right? I already forgot the context of that. I don't care anymore. I want to get this video over with, really. And what was it? And it says, you genuinely only have 4 options to fighting games that have more than 3 people. And this is the whole thing. People are like, Majima is being a little bit stupid, right? So it's like, I'm sorry, bro. Most people, like, if I can't hop in and get a match within seconds, I don't care. And if we're being real here, it's only Tekken 8 and Street Fighter. Like, Tekken 8 is the worst Tekken, for sure. I play it primarily because the online is good, and I can actually fight people within less than 5 seconds, in a sense. I don't feel like waiting for a match, and most people don't. Same Street Fighter 6. It's ruined me. Guilty Gear Strive is dead as fuck. You know, especially for the average audience. Like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. If the only people that play it are a bunch of sweat, your game's dead as fuck. Just gonna keep it real with you, right? Match is in a fighting game, and I'm not gonna get into it now, but I'm gonna go on a rant on this one. But there's a huge disconnect between, I think it's some fake. I call them, you know, we have the problem, you know how in anime we have the tourists. Anyone who says Smash is a fighting game is definitely 100% a tourist. They are not a part of the FGC, and they do not understand the core of what makes the FGC. That's a whole video on its own, you know? I hope one day we stop seeing people fighting games are too hard for casuals. It's a damaging narrative that they can be difficult to be good at, but you don't need to be good to have fun. I was talking about this yesterday about it is genuinely hard for people to get in, but I think the huge reason why is because of the internet and people have a perception of how you should be playing a fighting game. But then when they get into it, they have a sudden realization, yo, I'm trash. You know, before people played Street Fighter 2, everybody was garbage. But because everyone was garbage and they saw people go, oh, I'm good, right? Like you get gaslit yourself into thinking that you're decent when really you're trash. But now everyone's extremely aware that they're garbage. And especially in a 1v1 setting, it's like, oh, now you don't want to play anymore. I think that's really what it is, right? But people need to realize, like, dude, you can be ass and have fun at fighting games, bro. You know? And I hate people like, oh, you're just objectively ass. You could be okay with it, right? Girls, dude, you know what's funny? Girls are the most best at this, dude. It's only dudes. And there's a guy, I remember a girl, she says, I don't have a single fiber in my being that gives a shit about being competitive. I just want to play the game and have fun. I don't give a shit about dying. I wish more people would just play video games in general like that. Like, just play and have fun, bro. Like genuinely, you should not even give a shit if you win or lose. You know, it's funny. You know what? It's just like a dumbbell curve. You know, like the whole thing, like the dumb person says, oh, I do the thing, and the midwit's like, oh, whatever. Then you have, that's what it is. Like honestly, when you're matches, bro, I don't give a shit. I ain't no bitch. You know, and that's the problem. Like, it's low level players, they know how to have the most fun. High level players, they know how to have the most fun. It's the people that are in between that just don't seem to have the most fun, which is really funny because I also feel like mid levels where fighting games are the most fun. We're conundrum we have here. Anyways, to anyone in the FGC using the issues to 2xKO as some kind of gotcha moment, which it is, do better. Oh, they were large followings and I don't know. I feel like some bitch shit. Like, nah, bro. I'm sorry, dude. 2xKO was trash. I didn't feel like reading all that. I'm too lazy. But I also found out too, apparently Riot is racist. It said Riot saw black people taking home trophies instead of Koreans and took that shit down. I'm crying. So I didn't know that. But it's not even that big surprise. You know what it is? They're like, oh man, we're gonna face the Americans. I've seen this before for some people because they're weird like that, especially some Asians. They think Americans are only white people. And yeah, they pulled up all the term and they just see some of the homies come through and just cook them. It's like, bro, do you not know that the FGC has, especially the American FGC, has some really good black players? Like one of the best Angie players. No, 2 of them. They're black, dude. Fuck out of here. So now I'm even happier now knowing that Riot's a racist piece of shit, you know? Because like, dude, and then by shout outs to the homies, man. They're good at Street Fighter. They're good at Tekken. I feel like it's in this sort of right. They play more Tekken than anything, than Street Fighter, and then like anime fighters, right? And man, not all they be fucking cooking, bro. I mean, come on, they made the FGC national theme for fuck's sake. You guys know it. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. You know, and dude, on top of that, let's be real. 2xKO, the other until it's just not a good game, which we'll get into another tweet. It's a Kusoge. For those who don't know, Kusoge is a Japanese translation of shit game, and it's the kind of game where you know you fuck up one thing or you get punished on a light with a jab, and then you get into a touch of death. That shit's not fun. It's the same reason why DNF Duel didn't really succeed, right? It's the same how I said earlier how DNF Duel failed because you got people who don't play real games then play a real game. But not only that, imagine that you come from not real games, right? From whatever DNF is to whatever league is, and then you play a real game. On top of you not knowing how to play real games like Devil May Cry or whatever, now you're getting one touch to death. Oh, bro, no wonder no one wants to play that shit. No, bro. Nah. And then your perception of fighting games is basically screwed, right? 1000%. But now let's get to the final one. So much wasted potential. First of all, there was never any potential. We'll get into the 10-year development cycle. When I found that out, I'm like, oh hell no. Like I said, one of the fundamental things, the game took too long. By the time you marketed, it was like at least 2 years. And my cousin literally got bored. He was losing interest in the game, right? And mind you, that's someone who was invested in it. Like you can only take so long. That's the fundamental problem. You only take so long. We'll get into top performing at Evo. Is it really when you're kind of like pushing it? Like no, that's bullshit. Like again, why I don't trust Riot. They fluff their numbers far more than anybody. Good viewership. Again, I said it once. I'll say it again. When a goddamn VTuber tournament beats your Tekken World Tour, the fighting game esports is not a good sport. Look, that literally the esports bubble burst. Like we're fucked. Like esports in general, it's just a fucking niche now. I get like that shit's fucked because at the end of the day, your products are garbage if you don't have a good product. Look at Halo and Gears, bro. Those games as products are garbage. Therefore, no one gives a shit about esports, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like if people don't come for your campaign, why the fuck would they come for your multiplayer matches? Common fucking sense. Top 3 on console, is it really when no fighting games really came out and the only one that did it was City of the Wolves and no one really gave a shit? So only 10 characters, yeah, that's super. Kernel level access, first of all, super against kernel level access. It's the reason why I don't have Battlefield, whatever it is, and all you can't play it on Linux. So what can you do? $100 skins? No, I'm sorry. I already think anything past $5 is too much for fucking skin. Zero marketing, as we mentioned before, it's the biggest fault. Then you fire half of the fucking team. What I mean, Riot Games is a joke. I mean, at this point, just because they didn't make expectations. But let me talk a little bit about the 10-year development cycle. So generally, this is well known. 1 year is too small to make a real game. We're talking about full-fledged product. 2 is better, but not whatever. 3, okay, it's nice, right? And you're thinking, oh, hopefully 10. And here's the thing I've learned about why 10 years not good. From what I've seen, if a game takes 10 years to make, either it's one of two things. It doesn't quite live up to the expectations, but at least it's good, or it's complete fucking garbage. You know, there is only one game. It had an 8-year development cycle. I forgot what it was. And I was like, holy shit, it's actually pretty good after an 8-year development cycle. You know, almost underrated to an extent, right? But like, no. And another thing is a good example, like Conquer, I think took 8 years or some bullshit, is one of the huge reasons why, besides, you know, development site, because I'll give this tech 2XKO. I think it had a trouble development like Cyberpunk or even Final Fantasy. I think they consistently worked throughout it, right? But the problem is that things change so much in a year, right? Like a huge reason why Concord failed is because you came into a market that not only became oversaturated, people were done and over with, which I thank God, I'm so happy hero shooters are dead. I think they're the stupidest, gayest shit I ever heard in my fucking life, you know? And you want to charge, like, you know, the times have changed, like so much can change, right? Like say, for example, we have like Vampire Survivors, right? The Vampire Survivors pops off, the year pops off, the second we get a couple ripoffs, then it becomes oversaturated by the 3rd year. And at that point, by the 4th year, I haven't really truly made anything stick out. Then by after year 4 or 5, oh, it's not, no one really gives a shit, the trend's over, right? Like you kind of have to, like as a developer, it sucks, but you kind of have to have this grind mindset. And I think that's the real problem with 2XKO, why it took so long. It looked like the developers were chill, they weren't stressed, which is good. I genuinely wish games could have 10-year development cycles and the devs could take their time and have a healthy lifestyle. But when you're as a developer, even as an indie or solo, you gotta crunch. It is just genuinely part of the culture. I don't think it's healthy to have. To me, it's like maybe a bit of crunch after, or maybe sacrificing some weekends or some shit, like every now and then, but out of your own volition, right? Like say you're in the zone and we want to, right? I mean, it's like a healthy crunch, if that makes sense. But no, I'm not talking about, oh, this is something that needs to be done every single day for a year straight. Like no, that's beyond unhealthy and it's actually unproductive. But you do gotta have your thing. You gotta at least try. But when I see the 2XKO developers, I like the stupid former Twitter losers and the Roblox devs quote where they, I'm like basically they do nothing most of the fucking day. I'm sorry, that's just not productive. I think they took too much of their time. I think that's a ginger, because again, why else did you take 10 fucking years? Because I don't think they reworked anything. I could be wrong, but I do like that it seems like they weren't pressured or rushed or anything. But yeah, no, I mean the product was doomed to fail to begin with, so at least they didn't get stressed over it, you know. So shout outs to that. But yeah, no, so you guys know your game shouldn't take like 5 years, maybe max, and that's if you know your product's gonna sell. And that's the thing, right? The other thing is like it just gets too risky anything after 3 years. And like in 10 years, you can, to me, in my opinion, you get 10 years if you have a big IP, obviously like GTA for example, right, or Final Fantasy. But like if you're a smaller one, the shorter the dev cycle, the better. Not too short. Like I said, 1 year is just way too short. It's one of the reasons why Call of Duty has so many fucking bugs. 1 year is genuinely too fucking short. You know, we're talking like at least AAA quality, right? Not no random, you know, some half-ass fucking indie game. No offense. Oh, now let's go into the person I was talking about, right? Genuinely insane that opening Sajam stream and it's him defending the tag fighter while 70% of the chat is saying he's being disingenuous with the points to his argument and he's coping over 2XKO. Oh, 100%. Look, give good points to Sajam where it's due. Decent commentator. I think he has overall really good takes when it comes to overall FGC stuff when balancing and whatnot. Like I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. And again, big shout out to him for hosting the Sajam Slam, because for some another thing I absolutely agree with that is wrong with the FGC is that their refusal to do anything outside the norm. Like, no, I'm sorry, bro. Most people don't want to go to just some tournament venue, go O2 and then have nothing to do. I'm sorry, no, right? So I'm glad that he's like, oh, you know, he said, fuck it, I'll do my own VTuber tournament. And he did. Personally, I think the Sajam Slam is ass. And mind you, no fault of his own. I feel like he does good at organizing, getting people to know who to get, and he got random people. I still don't know who the fuck they are because they're unknown people to me as far as I'm. And you know, it's taking the first steps. The actual event, I know Twitch fucked him over one time, and then to me, I feel like he doesn't handle the content after, because he's not a content creator when you really think about it. He just kind of sits there like he has no idea really how to market his shit and how to edit it and make it entertaining for people who don't want to watch that shit live or don't really give a shit, you know. But hey, I'd rather he's starting a trend than nothing at all. Like he's doing better than the average fucking goddamn, you know, tournament organizer. So I'll give him credit for that. And also, what was it? And this is gonna go into the thing where I don't think he's a full shill. And the reason I say this is because this dude stuck his neck out to talk shit about Street Fighter and its genuine issues. 5, by the way, and he lost his fucking job basically. Like you gotta put some respect on that. But what we're getting back is that he's definitely a bit of a shill, because there's something more personal or whatever that I didn't really agree with, and it just seemed hypocritical and bullshit. If you know what I'm talking about. I'm not getting into it because I think it's a bit not. I just don't think it's relative to what the topic is about. Because the whole thing is he's like, oh, I want to push esports, this and that, but then when we have an actual opportunity to truly push esports and have better, oh no, I want to dip out because I'm a little bitch. Like get the fuck out of here. That's so fake. And then yeah, and then the way he does the Chipotle, no hate on Chipotle or anything, but that shit was so fake and whatever. Like, you know. And to me, this is the whole thing I want to get is I think the half the reason is because he's so like invested, and then he's clearly paid by the 2XKO that like, and like he's invested, but he doesn't really care about 2XKO like something like Street Fighter, so he doesn't mind taking $1,000 check to just bullshit it or whatever, right? That's really what it is. And the other thing is with me is that he's good when we talk about general stuff, whatever, but when he starts to get it down, like he has some of the worst fucking takes, bro. Like he be saying some stupid ass shit that's biased. As I said, like he be cooking on some, okay, here's how you actually engage, and to me this is the thing, he's well versed and he'll use his good vocabulary skills to hide basically like genuine opinions, right? Like some of the shit he said about the balancing about Strive was actually just asinine, or some of the things like, you know, like because there's times, a lot of times he is right, because most people don't know how to engage those, and he just seems better in comparison conversation, right? When you see someone yelling at the, oh, this is stupid, you know, which again, in Max, I do agree. You have to converse yourself in a proper way if you actually want to convey when you're talking to Max instead of just bullshitting, right? But you can't just talk good and then use that to cover up a really bad fucking point. Like I said, dude, 70% in your chat was calling you like, dude, that's just disingenuous, you know? I don't know if I had that tweet right here earlier, but 2XKO is just fundamentally just a bad game, you know? That's the core of the issue. And to say otherwise, it's a Kusoge, bro. Like, I'm sorry, it's a Kusoge. And again, Riot is like, we'll get into it a little bit, but Riot's just not a good company, right? And you know, it's really weird. Yeah, we already oh yeah, the whole thing. The crazy part is insanely, oh, I hate that they're saying, oh, 2XKO is active, whatever, but you know, no, it's not. And also, and here's the thing, going back how you can know it's disingenuous. It said, almost died today. A robber came into my house, loaded a gun, aimed at me. Luckily, I was practicing 2XKO, and suddenly he fell asleep. So see, like the game fundamentally is just not good, right? It's the same. Like it's so even if it marketed it was fucked from the start, right? It's just a fucking thing. It's the same thing like almost I Left Starlight Revolver. That game had good advertising, right? But fundamentally, the game just isn't that fun. And then we have, I don't know who this SK person is. It says, this is terribly sad. I feel like the game just needed a little bit more time. No, dude, 10 years. See, that take. Oh, dude, 10 years is too long. The only thing that stopped me from putting 12 hours a day into it is there's no hot purple woman yet, which is why I always say, I mean, I think it's a joke, right? But like, bro, people who only play because of some gooner shit is just crazy. I mean, I think she's 100% saying that as a joke, right? But you know, I don't know why I had a thought about that, but yeah, no. Theory, I thought he was being stupid when he said, ultimately I think 2XKO will be fine. No, it won't. Nope, it's not gonna be okay. Thank God. But I think being angry at Riot, the way they handle things, and that being creative a barrier you want to put in the game down is very reasonable. Yeah, 10 years and 30 minutes notice is fucked, and let's not pretend. Absolutely. You know what? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That's just too long, dude. You had plenty of time to figure it out. I mean, we already went to it right now. But yeah, there's that. Oh, most of it, like I said, it's fucking here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, that's getting off into the other thing, right? Let me see what I was thinking about. Okay, sorry about that. The revive. Now I remember talking about the disingenuousness of Sage MC. Max, I feel wholeheartedly it's not disingenuous. I feel Sage M's like 50-50, right? Like just a little bit. I'll give credit where credit is due. But and the main thing I was getting back is now looking back to like why Riot's bad. Like, dude, first of all, look, if you guys seen the meme, you know what I'm talking about. It's the whole Gabe Newell saying that fucking like, oh, I don't need a fancy animation to reload my gun. Fucking gay ass fairy bullshit. You know? And yeah, and this is the thing, I do not like games like Overwatch, Valorant, League, because that shit's gay as fuck. And no, I don't mean it the homophobic way. I mean it the way the cool kids use it. It's lame. Like if you are you're some dude, you're playing this shit, bro, I'm sorry, you are not a fucking man, bro. You are a bitch. You got no dick. That shit does not work, bro. That's why I give slack when girls play. Okay, you know, you're a girl, you can play homo watch, as I call it. But even then, it's like, see, like, 'cause a real woman doesn't play that weak ass shit. That's why, that's why I love that the best esports players ever is always FGC. When it comes to chicks, it's always the FGC, right? They don't pull that stupid shit that happened with the fucking Marvel's garbage game, which I also hate. It's fucking, you know, oh, we're gonna drop a game because fucking I'm a little dumb bitch. I don't want to switch characters and there's $1 million on the line or some bullshit. I don't think it's that much. I think it's bullshit anyways. It's like, nah, get the fuck out of here. And it's so funny too, is that these games are unappealing as fuck. This looks like some baby kid shit, bro. I don't want to play no shit like this, whatever. Like I'm sorry, bro. I'm a grown ass fucking man. I need some Gears of War shit, bro. I ain't no bitch. Like, and fighting games are inherently manly as fuck, dude. They just straight up are. You know, anyone who says otherwise is fucking buckwild. And that's why, like, to me, I've never seen one game, indie fighting game, that just seemed pussy made. And it's like, I'm sorry, bro. No one's playing that shit, right? No one's playing that shit. Like, no one's playing that bitch shit, dude. But yeah, no. And the thing is, like, this is why MVCI failed. It is not like a true, like, I don't like MVCI primarily because it's not a true Marvel vs. Capcom game. It misses the appeal. And regardless of what you think, too many fighting game players, they think it's, oh, fighting games about role. No, it's not. To the average person, and even why they get into it, it's like, oh, because it has Kyosuke. Oh, it has Marvel characters, right? And that's why MVC failed, right? From a visual standpoint, it looks like some fucking Disney fucking baby bitch shit. You know, it doesn't look manly. And then from a core standpoint, like, this is not my Marvel. It has stupid MCU characters. And if you guys don't know, true Marvel fans do not like the MCU. We like comic book accurate characters, and that fucking MVCI game did not have that shit, you know? And it's crazy. I feel like it's a huge disconnect between some of the hardcore members of the FGC and understanding what people like about fighting games, you know? And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit into here, right? And here's it. Stop making fighting games for esports and start making your games for gamers. Esports is a niche. It's just right, no, but just in general, right? Because here's the thing. The fundamental problem is right now that fighting games as a product are garbage. Street Fighter 6 is the best fighting game by a product by a long shot. Because it literally has, I mean, forget me, I might take this out if I already repeated it, but it has, you know, it has an actual art mode you can play, and then it also has multiplayer and extreme battles. That's why, to me, if you're the kind of person that talks about, oh, I hate Avatar, or why they add costumes, I will not listen to you because you're not the target demographic. You're a fucking idiot and a minority, and you're the same cuck that'll pay $100 for a fucking outfit like a moron. I don't give a shit about your stupid ass opinion. And we have too many loud motherfuckers in the GC that are a minority that are like that. I won't listen to them, bro. No one listens to you, bro. You're a fucking jackass. All the same motherfuckers that say, oh, I support fighting games or a good fighting game, but none of you buy City of the Wolves over the pettiest shit, which is fucking ridiculous. ridiculous to me. Absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah, no, and here's the thing. For as much as we have to admit it, there are two things I will say right now. Call of Duty is one of the best-selling IPs for video games for one reason. It's a good product. Say what you will. I mean, right now it's in a bad state, right? But here's the thing. It has a story mode, a multiplayer mode, and a dedicated survival mode like zombies. There are people who only play zombies. There are people who only play multiplayer. There are people who only play the story mode. Where meanwhile, you have something like Street Fighter 5, for example. Mind you, people also don't want to admit Street Fighter 5 is the best competitive product. Yeah, it is. Mind you, are there problems because you go from Street Fighter 4? Is there less combo creativity or expression? Absolutely. Is there less execution? Yeah, there's no one-frame fucking links in SF5. But as a competitive item, it is actually one of the most fair without being dead-ass boring like Tekken and a patch of Street Fighter 4. And that, like, and mind you, I can say this because, like, dude, I play almost every single fighting game and I'm actually competent at them. Like, I understand them fucking mentally, you know? And SF5, to me, is one of the best ones to watch competitive, especially near the end of its life cycle. It became a much better game, right? Because they finally added arcade mode, or survival mode got better. But fundamentally, the story mode for Street Fighter 5 is mediocre at best. The arcade mode is nothing much to laugh at, except for maybe the Street Fighter 3 one, because that was actually pretty good. And the survival mode is just cancer. In fact, I actually knew someone that only plays survival mode, and they like the PB tag one, which I think was kind of meh. I think it was surfaceable. So it lets you sink in that, yeah, there are people that just don't want to only play fucking online, you know? And there are people that only play arcade mode, and Sage and Majin Obama has talked about this. If your game's not fun to play by itself in a setting without a person, then it's not a good fighting game to begin with. I absolutely agree with that sentiment. But Star Strike's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I literally sat there just doing Shoryukens and Heavy Punch because it fucking felt good as shit, you know? And it's, again, going back to, this is why Gears and Halo have failed. They have become terrible products. Like, if you don't have it's like a funnel, right? You have to have people give a shit about your base product, like the story mode, whatever, to get invested, to even have a viewership or a smidge of people going to multiplayer or even watch it, right? And that's the thing. Look at Sage. That's why that Sage Slam is so good, because you're getting people that would have never given a fuck about fighting games. You're giving a reason to get invested, and guess what? Now their audience gets invested. That's how you grow fighting games, right? That's why we need to have the one fighting game, have it be the product, and cater a whole thing like Call of Duty has. Like, literally, again, people will say Call of Duty is nowhere near the best FPS of all time. No, it's not the level of Halo, Counter-Strike, whatever you name it, but it is the reason why shooters are the #1 genre, whether you like it or not. And it's purely fundamentally because it is a good product. Well, I mean, it used to be, right? Who doesn't know about Mason? Who doesn't know the story? Who doesn't like Zom? You know, you almost forget about the multiplayer by that point, and then it's like a funnel. But fighting games, we don't got a good story mode. I don't really count Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat, and mind you, Mortal Kombat, it's not a good competitive game. It did set a standard of what fighting games, I think, in the direction they should go, kind of, but not the best. It doesn't really, like, I think it's a step in the right direction, but it does not the best way to represent how fighting games really should, you know? And this is the other thing I want to get at I don't know if I mentioned before, is the same thing that fighting games are too in their niche, is that although there'll be patches, this and that, and it's the same thing I think with fighting games don't know how to make good content, is that, and this is basically a shot at indie developers too. This is why I don't give a shit about 90% of indie fighting games. Why? Because a normie said this, is that all indie fighting games is the same thing, but just a different coat of paint. Mind you, fundamentally under the hood, there's different mechanics, you could this and that, but no, the average person doesn't give a shit, right? It's like the example of, imagine there's a Devil May Cry, it has none of the story, none of the characters, it's blandness, right? For maybe some different color point of paint. Oh, but this one you could do this combo, this, that, whatever. Like, oh, cool. It is good. It makes the game more fun and it's enjoyable if you're like a hardcore DVMC player. To the average person, bro, we already know they don't do a combo past 6 hits if it isn't more than like one button or one attack or some bullshit. The average person doesn't get to that level of depth, and that is fighting games. And right now, too many indie fighting games are focused on some weird niche thing. Okay, we have this. It's like this game, but we do this. Like, no one gives a shit, bro. No one gives a fuck. You know, sometimes they do a good job of doing character focus and maybe story, but I'm sorry, people don't want to read a visual novel as much as it sucks to say. And no one wants to just play arcade mode to get their story, bro. They've been literally spoiled by Mortal Kombat. Like, Mortal Kombat is standard, whether we like it or not. I think Street Fighter 6 World Tour is a much better standard, but the execution could be a bit better. It feels like watered down Yakuza, if that makes sense. You know, I think the Street Fighter 6 direction with the story is much better than what Mortal Kombat does. But people want a well executed story more than anything, right? Especially if they want to give a fuck and get invested with characters. Which is why I'm sorry to say, man, I'm sorry. I just don't give a shit about 90% of fucking indie games, because it's like, yeah. And they just don't hate quite as much. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really give a shit about your random Kusoge, you know? It is what it is, bro. So indie developers, like, actually make decent product. That's all I'm saying, bro. I like that rollback has become the standard, though. And see, that's the other thing I want to go about 6KO is that I feel it would have been a lot better had it come out years before, when rollback would have been its biggest saving grace, but now that's considered as a bare minimum. Like, that's just the standard, you know? And fucking, yeah, so that's the only that mini tangent is, yeah, don't try to make, you know, don't focus on esport. Focus on making a quality product. Esports will come later. That is something I noticed, and as an indie dev, that is what I try to aim and shoot for, you know? And I'll get into it. That's why I became a developer, because the state of not even just modern video games, but fighting games suck. I'm sorry, we're in like the second dark ages, as they say. Like I literally do not give a shit about anything coming out, bro. I don't give a shit about the new Avatar fighting game. I don't give a shit about the fucking Tokon. Again, apologies if I already mentioned this, and I don't give a shit about stupid 2XKO. These games look lame as fuck. They don't feel real manly. They're not a fighting game. And honestly, for Avatar, I like Avatar. Avatar. But bro, again, going back to time, dude, you want to make an Avatar fighting game years after that shit was trending. And mind you, we see a video every now and then about, oh man, why Uncle Iroh's the best, some bullshit. But who actually gives, you know, I could care less. I don't want to get hyped. And especially now, right now, it's a terrible time for fighting games. And this is what I want to get into, is that right now we're in a true dark, to me, they say the dark ages, but whatever. No, this is the true dark ages of fighting games. People say, oh, this is the golden. No, it's not even. And it wasn't. No, we're nowhere near. It's too young. And why I say this, I want to go back to what I was saying. That links, I mean, I think I might have brought it up with Smash the Africa, because I've done this recording 3 times now, right? So apologies. And it's that we have like 3 generations, or we'll say generations in a sense from the FGC, right? We have the old heads, right? These are people that are like that started with SF2, maybe played other stuff all the way to the 2000s, right? We'll say like just you know, Daigo, Mahara, fucking Snake Eyes, whatever. They grew up with SF2 and they got all those other stuff and played well into the new millennium. Then we have like what we call like the new millennium, right? These are people that played like fighting games in the 2000s, right? So that's like a what, 20 to 10 year gap, right? Depending what you got into fighting games in the early 90s and then to 2000s. These aren't too well known, right? They're like the kind of in between, like, and even then we have some people like, good example, like Smug. He lightly played fighting games casually in the new millennium, but he didn't really like kind of get started competitively until Street Fighter 4. You know, that's when you take it serious. Right? I think there's different gaps, right? And then we have the 09ers. These are the people who got into fighting games like during the Street Fighter 4 era, right? Or Tekken 6 and whatnot. Street Fighter 4 being the big, I think it's the biggest proprietors is like Soul Calibur, Street Fighter, and MVC. I got into fighting games, believe it or not, like casually. I always played it casually, right? So you can consider me new millennium because I played more Kombat, but I never once thought it serious, right? But I didn't really truly start playing fighting games, if that makes sense, like as a fighting game until the 09 edition. And it was not Street Fighter 4. I hate Street Fighter 4. It was because of MVC. MVC got my foot into the door. Or no, my bad. Soul Calibur is the reason I started playing fighting games again. I actually say because of Tekken a bit. But no, MVC 3 was my catalyst. Like MVC 3 is what made me start my love for fighting games. Like, you know, there's your catalyst. Okay, what's your start? But my true competitive start for fighting games wasn't until Street Fighter 5. You know, like the new millennium, I just played it because like any other game didn't give a shit, but I didn't really truly acknowledge fighting games as for what they were until Marvel vs. Capcom, you know. But then I started taking them serious and playing them more. Like, I took it serious, right? There's a difference between playing it and getting into the genre and then playing competitive. It always takes time, right? That's what it is, because it takes time to get good at a fighting game, even regardless of your schedule. It was Street Fighter 5. So by many people, I'm like, that's new gen. So Street Fighter 5, you know, so think about it. There's people who came from SF2, the new millennium. That's not discussed a lot because it's considered the dark ages, because not a lot of people got into fighting games, right? And then we have, you know, like, so but it's mainly, like I said, the old gen, that's the SF2, the old heads, the 09ers, and the SF2 or the SF5 guys. These are new guys. And now we have the newest gen. That's right now. There's people who got into fighting games from Guilty Gear Strive, fucking, you know, we could say Dragon Ball Fighter or whatever. But yeah, like SF5, right? So that means if you got into fighting games during the SF5, Tekken 7, you know, games around that period, right? Guilty Gear Strive to me is like this gen and stuff. Yeah, this generation sucks dick, bro. Because like, good example, Guilty Gear Strive, that game's fucking shit. Like I said, the beta was great. They should have just nerfed Neo and Jam and done some stuff, and it would have been perfectly fine. They didn't have to do anything. I think the DC characters are whack. I actually like Happy Chaos, you know, controversial take, but yeah, Guilty Gear Strive's just in a shit state. The game's dead as fuck. No one gives a fuck. The game's completely different. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't give a shit. You know, yeah, oh, Potemkin's good now. I'm sorry, but they changed him too much. He's not the same what I played in the beta, bro. I don't give a fuck. The same reason why I don't play Lars in Tekken 8. He's just not the same character anymore. But yeah, all these games suck, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like 2X, like all these games look whack as fuck, dude. I don't give a shit. You know, but and here's the thing I want to loop into, right? Is that the other reason why, you know, we're in the bad state of the FGC? So many people, like, here's the thing. Once you're FGC, you're always FGC. You can never truly leave the FGC, right? You'll always love fighting games forever. It's a community. But people were already kind of leaving during the SF5 era because of what was happening and the esportsification and whatnot. But it was mainly, I think, a lot of bitter people and losers, if that makes sense. But maybe they were ahead of the curve, some of them, right? And I mean, good example. Look at, like, Gutex and Ross. You know, they left halfway through that shit. And mind you, SF5 became a much better product, as we now know. But you know what? Fuck it. They left early and they made a good call. Because mind you, I got into it, mind you. Here's the thing. A lot of old heads have fallen off. But you think, oh, they're just old, this and that. And they don't like, and that is true for some people. It's because they kind of fighting games. But no, they have a point. Because think about this. I am basically a new head. I'm not full. Like, I think the biggest zoomies are into it because of this. They got into because of Guilty Gear, Tekken 8, or Street Fighter 6. Dude, I don't fuck with the FGC. Like, I'm still FGC. By the way, I'm still cool with my locals doing that. But dude, I made a video. I haven't gone into a local in almost over a year. Now it's like going 2.5. We could say there's no reason to me. Like competitively, there's no point. I feel like it's not fair. There's too much bullshit. The scene is just not interesting to me. I don't even see some of the same people that I fucking fucked with. Right? Like I'm not excited. I don't like the games. The scene seems whack. You know, there's too much bullshit. There's not, and to me, I care about growth. I don't see any real growth. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, bro. I gotta focus on myself. That's the trend I'm seeing. There's so many. So like the thing, I am a new gen by the old head standards. I fucking basically, you know, I wouldn't say left or quit the FGC, but even I retire from the FGC, right? Like it's because I had to. Because at this point, it's like I gotta focus on myself, whatever. And of course, I'm a developer. I don't have time to go around a term, and I have no real desire. Like I want at least if I go, it's just to say hi to the homies and play some games with the homies, right? That's granted, that's the entire purpose of locals. But for me, it was more than just, I mean, it became that, but the core reason was, bro, I'm here to fucking make some fucking money. And that shit, I'm sorry, there's just no. The FGC, I mean, we know the esports bubble pop, but not even that. I'm sorry, I can't, fuck even the money, right? Even just to complete games, I just am not excited to play these games, dude. I'm just fucking not. And now that we have rollback and that's a standard, do I really want to spend money during an economic recession when I don't have that much money, when I could just play at home with rollback, you know? And that's the other thing. Like, I will say that rollback has sadly killed a lot of locals. Like, to me, locals would thrive more if it appealed to us old heads in a sense, because now we're the old heads, me including myself, and we actually had games that we could play. But no, they only want to put the trend, which makes sense, right? I respect it. No hate on the organizers, right? And there are some that do exist. Like, there's one that I know that actually does under night. Pretty hard to get people, but hey, it is what it is. That's what a local is. It's for people to get together and play all that. I know locals you can start in your house in a sense. I gotta do that one day. Get motherfuckers to get together, like, yo, let's play some old school fucking fighting games, right? But yeah, no. And basically, I want to get into this. Like, see, the FGC existed way before the esports era. And yeah, that's what it is. And that's why I said once fighting game, always a fighting game. Oh, last one. And this is why I want to get to, if 2xKO fails, I honestly think fighting games forever cooked outside of the big three. And like I said before, no, because we're waiting for my fighting. Like, I'm saying this right now. My fighting game will save the FGC. It goes back to a good quote I heard. I do this not because I think I'm good, but because I'm better than you and because you suck. And that's just honest. You game developers, all from AAA, Capcom, none of you morons know what you're doing. We have the formula, other things like this is what you make a product. This is what makes a good fighting game. You know, like objectively, like oh, this is the kind of you do for balancing. This is what none of you morons do that shit, and you never will. You never fucking will. So fuck it, I'll do it. Literally, I quit fighting. It's like fine, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And it's so crazy that they think, oh my god, 2xKO. Like no, I'm sorry, no, who gives a shit? And I'm being dead ass, bro. I will save the FGC because none of you know what you're doing. Not even the indie devs. I'm sorry. Like if you guys clearly heard what I've heard before, and you have normies going, yeah, he's so fucking right. You know, I'll actually have shit for you to do instead of just fucking endlessly playing ranked online. Get the fuck out of here. People don't want to do that. But anyways, getting back to the whole thing is that, you know, that like I said, I'm not fucking playing this shit. Like I'm not in basically, and that's the thing too. Now I have more of a normie perspective. Like I didn't hear shit about 2xKO. Like I'm like, oh wait, it dropped. What did the whole time? You know, I can't tell. Like because now I have a bigger thing. So as we know before, right now we live kind of in an era where algorithm is everything. Like too many people get into the little bubble and don't realize. A good example, right? If you guys don't know, there was a controversy with like the Harry Potter game. I won't get into it. You know, and if you don't, further proves my point. I heard about it a bit, whatever, because people are being loud, and it's kind of like my thing when you roll on Twitter, which is what I'm trying to avoid it now these days because I just get shit that I don't give a fuck about. You would think the games, you know, there was apparently a boycott. It did nothing, bro. That game sold so fucking much. And what I had on Linus talked about this on his podcast, that too many especially as gamers, you're gonna know more about gaming in general and more so about your topic. Most people don't know shit about the FGC, you know, let alone this and that. So that's why Riot, whatever, the FGC, like the FGC alone is not gonna fucking grow your game. You gotta actually put some marketing, dog. Just gonna say that. And fucking yeah, like my sister's know me. She's a huge Harry Potter fan. She didn't hear shit about no boycott or anything. And it just goes to show you how much of the stuff that's on here, dude, is irrelevant. The average person doesn't know this shit fucking exists. Yeah, you know, and I this is why I am so down to earth, because I actually talk to people, and this is how I know stuff. Like basically no touch grass. And I think too many people don't fucking do that. You're so out of touch, you know? And that's the biggest problem why these companies and even some indie devs, like look, I love the indie devs, but like let's be real, I'm a nerd, right? Y'all are fucking nerds. The only difference is I'm a sociable nerd. I actually can talk. And again, it sucks. It's a strength, whatever. But man, people just really need to talk, or at least look up stuff, like just see how normal people and what their thoughts, you know, like one thing I want to do is do an interview when I'm going around Chicago, like their thoughts on like fighting games and whatnot, you know, to get a general consensus, right? Because you gotta have to, and you have to like, be able to ignore it too. Because we also live in, I think I mentioned before, there's one thing that I will do is I won't listen to super pro hits because they're too biased and they're jackasses, and with people who aren't interested in playing your video game, right? Like the Doom creator talked about this, that people are like, oh, why is it so bloody? Oh, okay, I wish I could just talk to the demons. And then he would further inquire, and he said, oh, they were never gonna even buy the game anyway. So like, don't change your game for people that will never play your game, right? I'm not gonna change a fighting game for people that don't play fighting games. You know, there are those morons, oh, motion inputs don't belong in fighting games. Like, I'm not gonna listen to those morons because they fundamentally just don't want to play a fighting game. Like that, literally, fighting games would not be what they are without motion inputs. You know, it's fucking asinine. You gotta be able to separate. See, there you go. See, yeah, that's as a developer when you can, instead of, oh, this shit, like, what the fuck do you care if someone's good? You know, like, stop being a bitch, bro. Be a grown ass fucking man. Like I said, I'm still mad at the Final Fantasy director being a little bitch. Oh, we will get more games. The gamer stop being mean. Shut the fuck. Also, just stop being online, dude. Like, dude, people who get online bullied, I'm sorry, bro. You're a fucking idiot. I don't feel bad for you, dude. Like, imagine getting butthurt about shit that's not a real problem, bro. Like, there are people out here, and I'm not gonna get into it. Anyways, looping back, sorry, I'm a little off track, which is a good sign, really, is that, so the old heads are leaving, right? And that's how you know it's a bad sign. Like, bro, they're sticking around. Like, yeah, like, this is, check out the Chill Scrub, great takes and everything. Look at this. He has farewell CFGC. This is one day ago. And mind you, he's obviously still playing fighting games or whatever, but he might not stop. He might stop making content, whatever. I mean, look, he's got guides and whatnot. I'm already at that point. Like, I just am not as FGC. I still do my beginner tutorials from time to time because I really love teaching people far more now than I do competing. But I'm just, you know, I don't really do fighting game streams as much. I don't even do beginner tournaments. You know, I'm just not like, again, in the game, I'm not invested into the games and their shit, and I don't even like the companies behind them. Why the fuck do I have any drive? And mind you, remember, the oldest people will make excuses, but dude, I'm a new head. What are you gonna say to me? You know, like, dude, I literally got into it during like, and mind you, I played SF5 and I liked SF5. Like, that was some people jump ship when SF5. But I'm sorry, SF6 is a fighting game competitively. It's just broken. It's just shit. I will always give credit and recommend it to people who want to get in fighting games because it's the best product. But as a competitive thing, I'm sorry, no. In the again, the fucked up thing is Street Fighter 6 is the best we got, and it pains me to say that because everything else is like I said. I realized by Tekken 7 and I played that for 2 years that this shit's garbage competitively. This shit's actually trash. As a product, it's mid. You know, the only reason it didn't get as much shit from Street Fighter 5 in my opinion is because it had a better launch as a product than Tekken or Street Fighter did. My hot take, you know. But yeah, no, like there you go. The FGC is just not in a great state. Like we have people leaving, you know. I mean, we already know me. Like, and mind you, I mean, I would say like to me, I'm basically not even retired, right? It's just on hiatus. That's the best way to put it for me. Clearly, I'll only be back once my fighting game becomes the center. Like, no, I don't want no one. Basically, I don't want no one saying, oh, the big three. I want to say, oh, the one. Like my shit needs to be the Call of Duty FGC. Like I want people to literally forget Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat don't exist. I want my fighting game to be the only one. You know, I gotta come with that big because these morons do not know what the fuck they're doing. I'm sorry, you can't trust DC. I mean, come on, bro. Mind you, Harada's not the ex-director. People don't even know that. He's actually in a higher position. He's more in charge. You know, he's like in between the director and corporate, if that makes sense. He left fucking Bandai for a reason, dude. Tekken was already shit. I think him leaving doesn't make that big of a difference. It just means Tekken will be even more shit than normal, if I'm being honest. But fucking yeah, no. Capcom is a bunch of jackasses who are greedy as fuck. NetherRealm has no idea what they're fucking doing. And like I said before, everybody else, no. The best chance we have is maybe Sega with Virtua Fighter making a comeback, and Alice doesn't know what the fuck they're doing either. Yeah, no, the only one I see making the comeback is maybe Virtua Fighter, because Soul Calibur's dead, sadly. Yeah, no, that's honestly the state of fighting games right now. I'm glad I was able to run off. Hopefully you guys didn't mind too much. We got the cheapie back, and I've been busy, work, whatnot. You know, I usually don't do stuff like this anymore, because, see, and that's the thing. I don't even want to focus on trying to make too many of these videos, but I really wanted to go off on this one. Again, love that 2XKO is failing. Absolutely glad. Because like I said before, I knew people, oh, no, whatever, you shouldn't hope for products to fail. Like, I'm sorry, if something's garbage, I want it to fail. Because to me, gaming is an art. I want people to experience the peak of the art, not fucking mediocre garbage, you know? And I'm sorry, bro. All those fighting games, I don't like Grand Blue. I don't like fucking shitty ass 2XKO. I'm sorry. Those games are garbage, bro. They're boring as fuck. Like, I'd rather you play a good fucking fighting game, dude. But again, if you do enjoy these games, that's fine. No hate on you, whatever. That's just, there's no reason to bully you for enjoying life, right? That's fucking asinine to me. But I would realize to me, is my whole thing is like, hey, you might like this, but maybe you'll like this game that's actually better, way better. And 9 times out of 10, you do, unless you're some kind of weird that likes the shitty game. Any power to you. Hey, look, I play Mortal Kombat vs. DC, so I can't judge. I'm not a hypocrite. That game is ass. I don't recommend it, you know? But a lot of people can't be subjective. And that's what I'm getting at, right? That's why I say Jeff's not a good. He's too biased. You got to be able to take your own opinions out of the equation and look like, yeah, now, you know what? This is not good. I might like it, but this is not it. With that being said, thank you so much for hearing. I don't know how long I went off this time. I'll see how well it's edited. And sorry if it's all over the place. Some things, like I said, the first time I was on point, and then I had to re-record this 2 more times because I'm a fucking idiot. But yeah, this is the video of why I'm happy 2XKO failed, and it went off into a tangent about the state of the FGC, basically. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I don't post too much. I'm working on the greatest awards still, and I'm trying to do some deving done, and I've been really busy at work. See, and that's what I'm saying, dude. I make more money now than I ever did when I was in the FGC, and it's a sad truth. I'm sorry. It was my side hustle, and it's not hustling, bro. The FGC is not hustling, and now, you know what I'm saying? I'm picking up the piece, right? I'm making it so other people don't have to struggle like I did. Let me give you a product that people can actually give a fuck about and invest in, and something we can actually have a healthy esports, right? And at the end of the day, too, at the helm is someone who gives a shit. Because, dude, these motherfuckers don't give a shit, bro. They don't give a shit about fighting games, bro. They just give a fuck about numbers and how cheap they can make something and appease to the widest audience without knowing the art of what makes the game. But yeah, that's all I got to say. This has been your favorite FGC VTuber, and remember, every day is great when you're chibi.